Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Image Made. My name is Leanne, your host. I hope you are doing well. Today, we're going to go back to what we were talking about in the last episode, and we're going to focus a little bit on the things that we say, the words that we speak over ourselves when we have been made aware that we are specifically chosen to do something. So I want to zoom in a brother called Saul. Now, this guy is just like an average dude doing life, and then he's also called specifically to do something that no one's ever done before. You know, no one at the time of in Israel had actually had the opportunity to be a king. Now that's the first, not even just in your family, but that's the first in like your entire nation and your entire generation. And so I kind of want to look at him in a way where we can relate to him as just average people who actually have a really big thing deep down inside of us. What kind of words do we speak over ourselves in the light of or in the face of these huge things that we want to do, aka dreams or callings that we kind of think, whoa. So today's episode is called But I'm Only, and I kind of wanted to leave it as an open-ended title because we can fill in the blank. For me personally, I always say, but I'm only I only get paid this amount. I only read like this. I don't read that fast. I'm only 27. I'm only the youngest. Let's have a look at Saul in the Bible. We're looking at First Samuel chapter 9. We're gonna look at verse 1, and this is how we're introduced to Saul. Right, there was a wealthy, influential man named Kish from the tribe of Benjamin. We'll skip along because I'm gonna butcher all those names. His son Saul was the most handsome man in Israel, head and shoulders taller than anyone else in the land. I really like how the Bible shows both sides of the story. It's not just focusing on all the errors of Saul, and it's not just focusing on all his glorious days either. We get to see that Saul is coming from a small percentage of the family, of the tribe, and he is also coming from the fact that he was a wealthy and influential man. Almost sets Saul up in a position where he will inherit that lineage and be able to do something that moves his generation. Now, we don't necessarily know the scale of the influence that Kish had, but he still was able to do things that made people change their perspective and or think about things in a certain way. And so you have Saul coming from this. He sees this on a day-to-day. He understands where his wealth comes from, and usually children inherited what their father did, right? And so we understand Saul he's pretty set up. We skip down now to verse 15, the same chapter, and it says, now the Lord told Samuel the previous day, about this time tomorrow I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin. Anoint him to be the leader of my people, Israel. He will rescue them from the Philistines, for I have looked down on my people in mercy and heard their cry. When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord said, that's the man I told you about. He will rule my people. We skip forward to verse 20, and right at the end of verse 20 it says, and I, Samuel, am here to tell you that you and your family are the focus of all Israel's hopes. And Saul replies in verse 21, but I'm only from the tribe of Benjamin, the smallest in the tribe, and my family is the least important of all the families in the tribe. Why are you talking to me like this? Saul didn't see himself as anyone of any importance. He just saw himself as the smallest. And the part that we are focused on, he says, but I'm only from the tribe of Benjamin. Now, I can't comprehend what kind of connotations he was getting at. Maybe the people from Benjamin wasn't seen as successful or wasn't seen as anyone special. But I really think that can be something for us. When we look at ourselves in comparison to others, do we see all our flaws and all of their great things, or do we see Or is it balanced? Are we looking at our flaws and also our good points, or are we just looking at one side? And I really like how sometimes we're a lot harsher on ourselves than how the Lord views us. The Lord obviously wasn't surprised about Samuel's flaws. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I didn't know that about you. He chose him at that time and was able to say, well, you're still going to be, you and your family are still going to be the focus of all of Israel's hopes. Now, Israel were talking about requesting a king. Now, this thing, requesting a king, actually upset the Lord. If you read over in verse 6, it says, from verse 6, it says, Samuel was displeased with their request and went to the Lord for guidance. Do everything they say to you, the Lord replied, for they are rejecting me, not you. They don't want me as their king any longer. Ever since I brought them from Egypt, they have continually abandoned me and followed other gods. Now they are giving you the same treatment. Do as they ask, but solemnly warn them about the way that a king will rule over them. Now, you can see how brokenhearted the Lord is, but yet he still listens or meets their requirements. And so he uses Saul with all his flaws. I really think that when you start to see yourself how God sees you, which will take some time, when you start to actually accept what he says about you, your perspective will change of yourself and of others. When your perspective changes about yourself, you can even look at your weakness and say, okay, this isn't something that I'm going to trip up on. This isn't something that I'm going to stay in that position, because if I've allowed Christ to live through me and Holy Spirit is also encouraging me and also doing the transformative work in me, then I have the opportunity to say, I'm going to do these things and I'm going to do my part and allow Holy Spirit to do his part. And you together work on these weaknesses and saying, but I'm only a teacher to, you know what, I'm a teacher. And there's no kind of like other additional words around it that denotes what you do as something bad. For me, I definitely would say, oh, I'm only a teacher. Like, oh, I'm not really doing that much. Like, I'm just teaching, you know. But just teaching is also a kind of way of saying, but I'm only a teacher. I don't do that much. Or if you're a parent, like, oh, I'm just a parent. Like, I just stay at home. Like, no, like, you're not just anything. Like, your position is just as valuable as someone who works in the corporate jobs. Our society puts hierarchy, what's a good job and what's a crap job. And sometimes it's like, do you know what? Like, why is a teacher seen as something not valuable? Technically, without having someone to show you something, you won't have the knowledge to do so. Everyone can be a teacher in some way, shape or form. And for those who want to make their career out of it, why is that looked down upon? And I speak this because I teach. It's something that I'm called to do right now, right here. And however the environment looks, I'm going to make sure that like Jesus's footprints has been left there. And even if it means you are praying over your environment and you're doing it, even if that means you're praying over your environment and you're doing it in a way that's like very discreet over there, I really think that you have the opportunity to see certain things shifting within your environment. It doesn't mean that you're gonna just like automatically get a promotion and leave. It just means in this moment that you have the chance to use all your strengths in a situation that feels like a weakness. In the last episode, we looked at our strengths and our hobbies. And what did you find? Did you find something that was like surprising to yourself? Maybe you asked some friends and was like, yo, what kind of strengths do you think I have? And maybe they told you things that even surprised you. Like, oh, I didn't even know I had that. And so this episode, the one thing that I want to ask you to do is list all your weaknesses. What do you think or what do you know that is a weakness about yourself? Again, this is not something to beat yourself up on. This is something to invite Holy Spirit into this moment and be like, what are my weaknesses, Lord? Show it to me in plain sight. Now, this could also come from a conversation that you get onto and it's just like, oh, we're talking about weaknesses. So again, don't necessarily feel like you've lost out on, like, I didn't hear directly from the Lord. Like, there's so many ways that he can talk to you. Yeah, I think take a moment to list your weaknesses next to, try and keep them all like consolidated next to your strengths. And so you got your strengths, you got your weaknesses, and then you can kind of have a look. Oh wait, I didn't realize this list was tons shorter.